Hey folks, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another 26 of the best. Except this time, it's going to be 25 of the best. Now today we're at Roma in Italy, but it's not the regular Serie A. No, this time we're in Serie A Azzurra, also known as Serie A Femminile, the women's league. At the time of playing this save, Roma's women's team were ranked 26 in the world, like Spurs were in the first instance of this challenge. This time, however, there is a slight wrinkle. The women's competitions only allow a maximum of 25 players to be registered, so whilst we'll be using the same basic challenge rules as last time, I have one less player to choose. Now for those of you who haven't seen the Spurs video for this challenge, first of all, shame on you. Second, let me quickly recap the rules. Because this is FM26, everything is based around 26. I pick the 26th best team in the world, sign a team of 26 players, 25 in this case. All players must either start the season at 26 years old or turn 26 before the end of the season. And I play one season in the top flight of the country and see if this team of 26-year-olds can win it. At the start of the game, Roma are predicted to come second in the league behind Juventus, so they already have a pretty strong squad. However, all but three of them had to be sold for this challenge. Giada Greghi, an Italian central midfielder, Oyani Valdezate, a Spanish right-sided defender, and Annalena Rika, a German central midfielder. Thankfully, the fire sale of the rest of the squad raised a cool £8 million for the coffers to go with the 400,000 I already had. 7 million of that was spent rebuilding the squad with 24 new faces. Yes, 24, not 22. That's because during my clear out, I forgot my own rules about keeping eligible players from the team and sold both Rika and Valdezate to Dortmund and Liverpool respectively. Oopsie. It's okay though, as I did sign 11 Italian players to complement my squad. I won't go through all the players I signed now because it'll take forever, but there are a few I want to highlight. Sofia Cantore was one of my Italian signings, signed from Washington Spirit. Sofia is a star player for the team, playing striker and right inside forward. Across the season, she picked up 27 goal contributions in 39 appearances. She was also our second most expensive signing this season, at a flat 1 million shekels. Ariana Caruso was our most expensive signing from Bayern for the tasty 1.1 million of our finest English quids. She's another Italian star player for the first team, and she primarily played in the number 10 role, but she did deputy at CDM occasionally. Altogether, she picked up 21 goal contributions in 39 games. Beatrice Merlo is another Italian, signed from Inter for 170,000 to play right wing back. Her elite acceleration, pace and dribbling got her into position to provide 10 assists in 10 starts in the league, with 14 across all competitions. Unfortunately, she was injured fairly often, which limited her game time considerably. Our top goal scorers across the season were Miriam Longo and Taylor Flint. Miriam is yet another Italian, signed from Fiorentina for 250 grand. She got 21 goals and 5 assists in 37 games. Taylor was probably our MVP for the season. Signed from Racing Louisville for just £88,000, this USA international scored 21 times and assisted 3 in just 27 appearances, earning an average rating of 7.15 across the season from the CDM spot. The only player to earn a higher rating across the season was Sophie Svava, a Danish international I signed from Lyon for 400,000. She averaged a 7.19 in 33 appearances, playing as my first choice left wing back, scoring 3 and assisting 12, putting her third in the team assist table behind Cantore and Merlo. One position we were really lacking was good quality goalkeepers. I signed 2 Italians as backups for the position, but our starter is Misa, signed from Real Madrid for 300,000. She played 41 times for us across the season, keeping 10 clean sheets. Perhaps our best bit of business though was signing Tenara, a Brazilian centre-back, on a free, after Bayern had released her for reasons I just cannot fathom. She ended up the player with the most appearances for us, playing 46 out of our 49 games this season. But we still needed another strong centre-back. And it took some time, but eventually, and I can't believe I'm actually going to say this, but for the first time in my life, I paid for Minge. Yeah, signed from Wolfsburg for 500,000. Some will tell you that this German international central defender is actually called Minge, but I have some experience in the field, and I recognise Minge when I see it. Anyway, with my 25-woman squad complete, I was ready to take on the world. Maybe. We were competing in 5 different competitions this season. Serie A Azzurra, the Women's Champions League, the Italian Cup, the Italian Super Cup, and the First Division League Cup. I set us up in a fairly familiar formation, my preferred 5-1-3-1. I had a lot of pace on my fullbacks, so I wanted to utilise them to the best of their abilities and get them flying, so a pair of wing-backs was ideal. We opened up our season with 2 home draws, a 2-all affair versus our fierce rivals Lazio in the First Division League Cup group stage, and 1-1 with Ukrainian side Metalist Kharkiv in the Champions League, a match we eventually won on penalties to progress to the next round. September was once again all cup matches, We beat Paris FC 7-2 across 2 legs in the Champions League to make it through to the league phase, and we beat Genoa, Napoli and Sassuolo to make it to the First Division League Cup final, a match we played to see out September, a match we played against Lazio. Honours were even after 120 minutes, with us battling out a 2-2 draw, meaning we were heading into penalties. And we were going first. Cantore stepped up and rifled one into the bottom left corner past the keeper who had dived the right way. Piemonte stepped up first for Lazio, but it was a pretty poor penalty. Putting one to our keeper's left at body height, it was easy for Misa to reach and parry it away with authority. A confidence boost for Misa at just the right time, as she was taking our second penalty. Yes, our goalkeeper was taking the next penalty. Her composure and penalty-taking stats are fantastic. And it paid off, placing one in the exact same spot as Cantore did, putting us 2-0 up in the shootout. Unfortunately, Vernis pulled one back, sending Misa the wrong way and blasting one high into her right. 2-1. Catena stepped up for our third and pumped it straight down the middle where, despite staying in place, Durante still managed to miss it, and we were 3 for 3. Benoit also sent Misa the wrong way, putting her penalty in the same corner as Cantore and Misa herself did earlier. 3-2. Kiernan stepped up to take our fourth and thundered it into the top left corner, sending Durante the wrong way. Goldoni stepped up, knowing that a miss would lose Lazio the match, but the pressure didn't faze her and she coolly placed it into that bottom left corner that everyone was having success with. Petnuzzo took her place for what could be the final kick of the match and fired an absolute thunder bastard to the top right corner. Durante had guessed correctly and dived to her left, but to no avail, as there was never any stopping a shot like that. We'd done it. We'd beaten our city rivals to lift the cup. Things were going very well for my girls. 2 months and 8 matches into the season, and we had picked up our first trophy, adding a brand new one to my meta trophy list in the process. We kicked off our league campaign with a 3-1 win over Sassuolo at home, but followed that up with 2 losses on the road. 3-2 at Chelsea in our first Champions League group stage match, and 2-1 against AC Milan in Serie A. We ended the month with 2 home wins, a comprehensive 5-1 demolition of Austrian side SKN St. Pölten, where Svava picked up a goal and an assist in a player of the match winning performance, and a 2-1 win over Napoli that started a long unbeaten run in the league. In November we had 3 league games in a row, starting with a 3-2 away win at Fiorentina, and a 6-1 domination over Como at our place. 4 days later we had our third match of the season against Lazio, and once again the match ended in a draw, 1-1 this time. Apparently we and our city rivals are evenly matched every step of the way. We beat Atletico 4-0 at their place in the Champions League and Tanana at home in Serie A in a wild match. We drew first blood just 3 minutes in when Caruso got on the end of a 25-yard through ball from Minge, dribbled past a marker into the box, and curled one into the far corner. We scored our second 20 minutes later after a 25-yard long ball over the top from Longo dropped to Cantore in the box, who played a one-touch pass to Caruso, who hit it with a first-time shot on the half volley, getting her second of the match. Tanana pulled one back 3 minutes later when Lazaro got above everyone else to nod one in from 7 yards to cap off what had been a very well-worked team goal. 5 minutes later, we regained our 2-goal lead when Longo fired in a long-range effort from 18 yards. 7 minutes later, Savava was left unchallenged out on the left wing, allowing her to come inside into the box and square the ball for Cantore to poke one home from about 2 yards out. 60 seconds later, Cantore got her second from almost the exact same spot. This time Caruso picked Ertzen's pocket on the left wing and made a run into the box to pull the ball back for Cantore. Tanana got themselves a second right from kick-off at the start of the second half. Working the ball down our end of the pitch, Pastrenj rocketed an outside foot shot from just shy of 30 yards out that Misa was able to parry, but the ball dropped in front of her and Kurosaki was right there to stab home the rebound. It was another half hour until the next action when Savava picked up the ball from a well-defended cross, moved into the box and curled the ball into Longo for a powerful header to score our 6th and Longo's 2nd of the match. Gomez scored a third for Tanana 5 minutes from time, but it was nothing more than a consolation as we ran out 6-3 winners. We saw it out November with a 2-2 draw in the Champions League at home to PSV, and then lost the next match in the competition 2-1 against Arsenal. We picked up 2 more league wins in December, 1-0 at home against Genoa and 4-0 away to Parma. We ended the month with a 5-0 victory away at San Marino Academy in the round of 16 of the Italian Cup, but before that we had our final Champions League stage match, a home match against PSG. It took 25 minutes of playing in the pouring rain before we opened the scoring. Grabowska fed the ball to Catena, who hoofed one over the top for Cantori to chest down in the box, take 2 touches to position himself and place one past the keeper into the far corner. 10 minutes later we were 2-0 up thanks to a well-placed Minge goal from about 14 yards. There was more Minge action in the box just 5 minutes later. From a corner, Cantori fed Minge the ball and she stroked it home. Almeida got one back for PSG from a corner 5 minutes into the second half, but that was little more than a footnote as we were comfortable 3-1 winners thanks to a very good Minge display. As it turned out, we would have secured a spot in the playoffs regardless, but a win over PSG is always nice to have. We were riding high heading into the new year and started out with another cup final, the Italian Super Cup against Juventus. Juventus, despite being 1 point ahead of us in Serie A, had been on a terrible run of form elsewhere, having been knocked out of the Champions League after losing 5 games on the bounce, so I was confident we would win our first encounter of the season. Nothing of note happened until the 51st minute when a high looping cross to the far post from Carbonell was knocked down by Librin to the feet of Krumbiegel, who hoofed it into the far corner, giving Juventus the lead. 9 minutes later, Krumbiegel made her way into the 6-yard area from the right wing and pulled the ball back to an unmarked Volti who powered one home from 12 yards. We had a chance to get back into the game just 2 minutes later, but Peru Mannion produced a wonderful save from Kiernan that proved to be the last action of the game, and Juventus ran out 2-0 winners. Well, that didn't go according to script, and it means we miss out on adding a new trophy to the Meta Challenge list this time. We didn't let this loss get us down though, as we made it a Milan double in the league, beating Inter 4-1 at their place and AC 2-0 at ours. We also had the 2 legs of the Italian Cup quarter-finals in this time period, and wouldn't you know it, we were once again faced with our city rivals Lazio, our 4th and 5th meetings of the season. It took until the first minute of the second half to get any highlights, starting with Saccotti playing it down the left for Savava to play a first-time cross high into the area for Flint to nod one home. It was another 30 minutes until the next highlight, and again it was in our favour. Grabowska hoisted a 40-yard long ball over the top into the area that Cateno controlled with her chest, knocking it past the goalkeeper and easily sliding it into an empty net. We put the game to bed 5 minutes from time when Caruso this time played a 50-yard pass over the top to Longo, who easily placed one in the far corner. With a 3-0 lead going into the second match at home, progression into the semis seemed like a foregone conclusion. It took until the hour mark for us to get our first highlight this time, Caruso feeding the ball to Catena, who burst past the defenders into the box and fired one home from about 12 yards out. And that was it, the only real action of the rather dull game. Still, 4-0 on aggregate puts us through to the next round where an old foe awaited us. But that was more than a month away. Before that we had one more league match to play this month, and away game at Sassuolo. It was another dull affair right up until the 84th minute when Galababadabdabdabdabdabchi scored a goal from nearly 25 yards out that was almost as incomprehensible as her name. Thankfully that was the only goal of the game and I was saved from having a seizure. That loss ended our 9-game unbeaten streak, but we were now top of the league at the halfway mark with 31 points from 12 games, 6 points ahead of Inter and 8 ahead of Juventus. Juventus gained some ground in February as they played 2 more games in the league than we did, winning 4 of the 5 games they played, but Inter had a rotten month, only picking up 7 points from a possible 12, and Juventus moved ahead of them, but only into second place as we won all 5 of our games in February, picking up a maximum 9 points in the league with wins over Napoli and Fiorentina, as well as a 6th and final game of the season against Lazio with a dominant 4-1 win at home. For anyone keeping score, across the 6 games we played this season, Lazio didn't win a single one. We won 3 and drew 3, scoring 13 to Lazio's 6 in the process. I think it's fair to say that Rome belongs to us this season. We also progressed through the Champions League playoffs with 2 wins and a 6-0 aggregate over FC20, leading us to a very tasty quarter-finals tie against Manchester United. But first, remember when I said we were going to meet an old foe? Well, it's time for introductions. In the Italian Cup semi-finals, we had been drawn against the last team to beat us in a cup competition, Juventus, and we were starting March with the first leg at home. They went 1-0 up direct from kick-off, with Bonansea taking it far down the left and throwing in a deep cross for Drelli to head home. We pulled one back on 35 minutes when Melo picked up the loose ball from a poorly defended corner and drove one to the far post from 12 yards that Tenaro was able to latch on to a knock home from about 3 centimetres out. 4 minutes later we were 2-1 up thanks to a Savava goal from 12 yards out, and that was the last action of the game. Going into the second leg, away to La Vecchia Signora with only a 1-goal cushion was concerning, as they were perfectly capable of overturning it. But we wouldn't get to the second leg until the end of the month, right after the first leg of our Champions League quarter-final tie with Manchester United, once again at home. Before that, we had 3 Serie A league games to play. First, we faced off against Tonano at their place, but this was no trouble and we comfortably won 4-0. 3 days later, we had another away game, this time against Juventus. For those keeping count, yes, that means we're facing them 3 times this month. We opened the scoring after 5 minutes when Grabowska fed the ball from the right to Flint, who was waiting in the 6-yard area. 3 minutes later, Flint picked up her second, powering a header into the far corner off of the Savava corner to the near post. Juventus pulled one back on the half-hour mark when Girelli decided our defence wasn't important enough to worry about and just wandered past all of them and poked one in from about 10 yards out. We scored again 10 minutes into the second half. A series of short passes in the Juventus area found their way to Flint around the penalty spot to fire home for her hat-trick. 7 minutes later, Caruso decided it wasn't fair that Flint was having all the fun, and upon receiving the ball from Merlo at the edge of the area, jinked past her marker and thumped one home from about 12 yards out. Juventus pulled one back a minute later when Libran got a bounce on the end of a Carbonell cross, but it didn't matter. Despite having a good half hour of the match remaining, we held firm to run out 4-2 winners. A solid win for us at their place was extremely promising for our next match there at the end of the month, but we still had one final league game to play, this time a home match against Juventus. Did I say 3 times this month? I meant 4. 4 matches against Juventus in 1 month. 2 home, 2 away, 2 in the league, 2 in the Italian Cup. An upcoming match against Manchester United felt sorely out of place at this point. Well, we won this third match against Juventus as well, 4-1 this time. Flint played again, but after putting everything she had into the last match, she was a shell of her previous self, doing nothing of note and phoning in a 6.5 rating. Still, that win put us in touching distance of the league title. Another win in our next match and we would be crowned champions. But first, our cup matches against Manchester United and Juventus awaited us. United beat us 2-1 at home in the first leg, leading us to a very difficult second leg at the Progress with Unity Stadium. In our final match of the month against Juventus, we lost 3-2 on the night, meaning we were tied across 2 legs of 4-all, which took us to a penalty shootout. But we won 6-5, sending us to the Italian Cup final. 5 days after our penalty win over Juventus, we were in England for the second leg of the Champions League quarter-finals. This time we ran out 5-4 winners after extra time, meaning we were tied at 6-all and heading to our second penalty shootout in a week. And once again, we ran out winners 5-4 to advance to the semi-finals. You'll notice that I didn't show any footage from either shootout here. Well, that's because when I went back to watch the replays, in both matches the replays stopped after our opponents missed their penalties, but didn't show our winning ones. But as you'll have seen on the after match reports, we definitely won both ties. 2 penalty wins in a row against tough opposition set us in good stead for our next match in the league, an away game versus Genoa that, if we win, will see us crowned champions. For 50 minutes nothing happened at all. No highlights, nothing. Then in the 51st minute we finally made a breakthrough. From about 40 yards out, Cantori played a long deep cross to the far post that landed perfectly for Kiernan to stab home, first time from about 8 yards out. It took another 25 minutes before the next highlight appeared. Savava, bringing the ball into the box completely unchallenged, had time to neatly square the ball to Janssen, who couldn't miss 4 yards out. 15 minutes to go, 2 goals up and our hands were on the trophy. We put the game beyond doubt just 4 minutes later when Amado played a simple low cross from the right to the near post for Grabowska to guide home. Joe pulled one back 7 minutes from time, but it was nothing more than a consolation goal. We'd done it, we'd won the league title. Unfortunately, FM decided not to show us a trophy lift, and it didn't appear after our remaining games either. So a look at the final league table will have to suffice. That's it. With 3 games to spare, we lift the Serie A trophy, adding another unique trophy to the Meta Challenger list, and proving once again that yes, a team of 26-year-olds playing for the 26th best team in the world can win their top domestic league. This probably isn't as impressive an achievement as it was with Spurs, however, as Roma have already won 2 of the last 3 Serie A titles in real life, and at the time of recording is 6 points clear at the top of the table again with 3 games left to play. Still, once again, we have completed the challenge of this video. But once again, just like the Spurs video, we still have trophies to play for, starting with the semi-finals of the Champions League against Bayern Munich. Oh. Okay, well, that's not too bad at least. It's tough, but given the high-scoring match we've been against high-quality teams this season, I bank us and getting back it. Right. Okay, well. Yeah, I got nothing. They beat us. Badly. And so, just like with Spurs, we fall in the Champions League at the penultimate hurdle. Well, in a bit of consolation, we have the Italian Cup final versus Fiorentina to look forward to, a team we have beaten in both of our previous meetings so far this season. We went ahead after just 2 minutes, Amado carving apart the crowded defence to find Kiernan, who side-footed it home smoothly from about 8 yards. Fiorentina drew level in the 10th minute when Kermark played an almighty long ball to Toniolo on the left wing, who made her way easily into the box and squared the ball to Omar Stottir, who couldn't miss from about 3 yards out. We retook the lead 30 minutes later when Cantore, deep in the area, pulled the ball back for Amado, who was all alone about 10 yards from goal and had time to smash one past the keeper into the side netting. Cantore played provider once again just after the hour mark, squaring the ball to Longo at the near post, who side-footed it into the far bottom corner for the last goal of the game, winning us the trophy with a comfortable 3-1 victory. And there we have it. We end on a high with a domestic treble, just like we did with Spurs, and adding yet another new trophy to the Meta Challenge list. Overall, across the 2 saves, I'd say Spurs did slightly better. They won one more trophy than Roma did, and the Premier League is substantially harder to win for Spurs than Serie A thought it is for Roma. Still, a total of 7 trophies, and completing the challenge on both occasions is a great result, and I had a lot of fun with both teams. Now, if you enjoyed this video and this series, please give all the appropriate buttons down below, poke for me to help keep the channel growing. And if you haven't seen the Spurs video I've been referring to, there should be a link floating around the screen somewhere. For now though, it is time for me to go. And like I always say, I hate to love you and leave you, so I'm just going to leave you. Bye bye.